greetings all and to all that are here and to everyone that's going to be watching this later on. This is the Skills to Gift class. When Tom would talk about empowering, quite often he would reference the power of that physical contact with the object, right? The power of that touch that we all have. And I was just considering that and thinking to a lot of folks that might seem a little woo-woo, a little crazy out there, maybe to most folks. But consider this, like right now, my touch, my hand, all of our hands, we can convey kinetic energy really easily. You know, I can have a stick of wood, I can throw it up and I can catch it. I can impart motion to it. We can produce and transmit thermal energy. I was just showing my little grandnephew at this point. I don't know what he is. He's just cute though, Leo. And I was introducing him to the concept of making handprints in frosted over glass. And we had a blast. But thinking about it, I've generated that thermal energy and I'm transmitting it. And then even with electricity, like obviously we generate a very low level of electricity in our bodies. But I mean, how many of you remember walking across, like shuffling your feet across the rug when you were a kid to build up that static charge and then surprising somebody with a touch on their bare skin? That's just the simple things. We can produce and transmit energy on those levels undeniably. So it just sort of makes sense that maybe there's more that we can do.
Preparation is the journey. Journey is the vision. And the vision is now, meaning the whole time you're going through the preparation, you're living your vision. You're acting your vision that when you give this gift, that person is going to look at that gift and feel what you're not going to tell them, right? And that's another thing. This is secret stuff, right? You're not going to go, hey, you can't guess you won't be able to guess what I empowered your gift with. No, no, no. This is the secret stuff. This is where you don't blow your cover. Keep it simple and really connect with the feeling and emotion. And that's what I want to talk about further Wednesday night.
I want to talk about baskets tonight. I'm going to talk about two different bases tonight. And Wednesday, we'll talk about sides. And then on Friday, we'll talk about rim options. Tonight, we're going to talk about square base options. And I'm going to be making a basket similar to this one. And what I always say with baskets is there's my idea that I start with, and then there's what happens along the way. Like Randy was talking about, the moving towards something, not to. So we'll see at the end of the week, how does the one I'm making look?
I did want to talk about, I've been doing stuff with kids for years now. It's been over 20, 30 years now teaching kids. And so, yeah, when I was back, I was a caretaker in the Pines. And like you were talking, Dave, we had this thing with Tom. And I know I think Elizabeth was just saying he started this back in 57 when he was 7 with grandfather. I know the story. I didn't know when. And this is about, gifting gifts to the animals. And his whole thing with Tom was like, okay, have kids thinking about someone else besides them getting gifts is giving gifts, right? And so basically he had this whole thing when he was a kid with Stalking Wolf, all right? Now, Stalking Wolf had these Dr. Dolittle kind of powers, okay? He had like a pet turkey he told stories about. And, all the animals around camp and stuff were kind of his friends. Because that's one of the natural laws when you're out there is you keep the cupboard full around you just in case. But with Stalking Wolf, he had all these, he made friends with the animals. And I think there was a story, it basically was a hard winter. And Stalking Wolf told Tom and Rick, hey, they're having a hard time. Let's think of them. And so they made gifts for him, like they got whatever they could of animal products or bird seed, or maybe it was peanut butter or pine cones, and put it out for the animals. And it was like a gift. So during the holiday season, it wasn't just thinking, of themselves. It was thinking of the animals. What's going on in the animal world? And it was a hard winter, and so they started this tradition. It might not have been every year, but definitely when there was a hard winter, they would definitely do it to help out the animals.
So I'm going to be speaking about a couple things. And it's kind of like timely because these two elements that I'm going to be talking about, they become more available at this time of year in the fall. Yeah, I just think that, nature provides us with so many gifts itself. And it's just, sometimes just even making a wreath or collecting something or a feather. It doesn't have to be complicated, or you don't have to be some brilliant artist or amazing basket maker. Our medicine comes through as we put the essence of ourselves into what we're creating for the people that we love.